Coming up on The Local Traveler, we take a Bluegrass barbecue tour to find out what makes Kentucky's Q so tasty. We will sample plenty of smoked brisket, pulled pork, juicy ribs, with a side of greens and cheese grits. This is one episode that you may want seconds of. It's all coming up on The Local Traveler. The Bluegrass State is already famous for basketball and bourbon, but soon barbecue could be added to that list. Meat cooked slowly over low, indirect heat, paired with flavorful sauces, is a popular choice, judging by the amount of barbecue eateries in Kentucky. Plenty of other states also have their take on this smoky meat. For example, Alabama is known for serving pork with a sweet tomato-based sauce, Kansas City for using hickory to smoke a variety of meats. Memphis is known for a dry rub barbecue, and North Carolina for a vinegar-based sauce. However, Western Kentucky is also known in the barbecue world for its unique style of mutton. History reveals that back in the 1800s, Kentucky farmers saw a boom in wool production, but then needed to make use of the sheep once they aged out of producing their coats. And hence, the art of mutton barbecue was born. This style is so unique that there have been books written on the subject, such as Kentucky BBQ, written by Wes Berry, who traveled across the state on a barbecue eating mission. But it's not just the western part of the state that has barbecue bragging rights. There are plenty of places in central Kentucky that have delicious barbecue too. Today we're going to check a few of them out, but be forewarned, it's bound to get a little messy. Whether you bleed blue or red, you're sure to be a fan of barbecue on today's tour. Our first stop is Red State Barbecue. This roadside cafe in Georgetown serves up tasty Kentucky Proud fare and showcases wonderful barbecue flavors. I'm here talking with David Carroll. He's the owner of Red State Barbecue. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
I'm really excited to be here because as I was talking to people about doing a barbecue show, everybody I talked to said, "Are you going to Red State Barbecue?"
Really?
People love this place.
Well, I appreciate hearing that because you just never know. You get so focused on what you're doing sometimes that you really don't know what people are actually thinking about you. You look at reviews and all that fun stuff, but you never really know.
Well, it's written on the walls. I mean, people love you.
That whole thing is just kind of taken off on its own, and much to my surprise. But yeah, we do get a lot of great feedback on the walls.
What do you think it is about Red State Barbecue that people really connect with? What makes it so good?
Well, it's the quintessential roadside barbecue joint. That's one of the things that I realized when I got into owning the restaurant, that it really does fall into that category. So that's what people, it's kind of, they romanticize that kind of thing. So it's like finding that roadside dive where you can get good food and get it consistently, and also it's a really laid back kind of place.
Well, and you all have won many awards, so you must be doing, outside of the fact that it's got this great ambiance, the actual product must be pretty good.
Well, we try to maintain the consistency. That's the most important thing, and it's when I took the business over 3 years ago, that was one of the things that needed to be priority, because if you are not getting the food right on a consistent basis, then it's kind of, what's the point? So
right.
we try to keep that consistency up. We have a high level of expectation for what we do in terms of the proteins and how we smoke them and the process in which we do it. So that's I think that's what's helped us.
Well, I think another thing that you guys do really well is everybody has their idea of what perfect barbecue is, and a lot of times that comes down to the sauces, right? So,
right.
And they're used to a sauce from Texas, or they're used to Kansas City barbecue, and so you really cater to all those styles, right?
We try to offer variety, and originally we started out with just 3 sauces. We had the Memphis sweet, the Texas spicy, and then the yellow one over there, the South Carolina mustard. And those are the 3 basic ones that we had to start out with. And then as we continued on, and we had people coming from North Carolina, in all kinds of different places, so then we introduced the North Carolina spicy vinegar, which that is my wife's recipe. So she has family in North Carolina. So we had to introduce that, and then the next one we introduced, because we are in the state of Kentucky, we have a Kentucky small batch, and of course that uses Jim Beam. to make that. And then the last one was the Alabama show horse.
Well, that's so nice, so that even if you've got a divided family in terms of what kind of barbecue you like,
Yeah.
you can all come together.
Exactly. And the thing is, when we have people come to the restaurant, we want the protein to stand on its own, okay? So if you don't use sauce, that's okay. But if you want some sauce, we've got it.
That's great. Well, and these are all made in-house.
Yes.
And is that part of what makes you a Kentucky Proud restaurant?
It is. There's quite a few things that we do in-house, from the desserts to all the sides, to the beer cheese grits, that kind of stuff.
Gotta love that.
Yeah. Yeah, so we do all that stuff in-house, and that helps us with that moniker. So
that's great. Well, it's great to use local ingredients and to be doing things all homemade and in-house, and I think people can really taste the difference.
Well, we hope so.
It's written on the walls. Right. They can, for sure they
right.
can. Well, I'm excited to get in the kitchen and kind of check out how you smoke these meats. This multiple award-winning barbecue joint is the real deal when it comes to serving up tasty brisket, pork, chicken, and ribs. They also offer plenty of sauces to sample, like Texas spicy or Memphis sweet, and customers just can't seem to get enough.
We came down here on a trip to see a friend of ours, and anytime I'm down here, I stop in here and have some barbecue.
I'm from Lexington, and we drive in just to come and eat at Red State.
It's a fun kind of casual experience. I work nearby, and there's not a lot of kind of local feeling places that I can go to, and so we like to come out on Fridays from work and come here and eat some food.
I enjoy the brisket. It's great barbecue, and it's right here in our neighborhood.
My favorite thing to eat here is the pulled pork sandwich and the potato salad.
When I stop by Red State, I really like the brisket and the corn pudding. Those are probably my two go-tos.
Probably corn pudding, and for dessert, that peach bread pudding. I love it.
Customers love Red State so much that there's a second restaurant concept opening soon. Red State Taps will offer taproom and tapas with a barbecue twist. In addition to their brick and mortar spots, Red State also has a food truck and a catering service. So now you have no excuse to get your barbecue on. Is your mouth watering yet? Well, that was only the first course. Another barbecue helping is coming up next after the break. With the amount of barbecue restaurants that have quickly erupted across central Kentucky, it's no secret that the people of the Bluegrass love their barbecue. In addition to restaurants, Kentucky also celebrates this love of smoky meats with barbecue trails, barbecue festivals, and barbecue books. Today we see what all this barbecue buzz is all about. We started our tour at Red State Barbecue in Georgetown, and now our next stop is at Door Smokehouse in Lexington. I'm talking with Jeff Newman, who's a co-owner of Door Smokehouse, and you actually might remember him from another episode that we did. You were the chef at Boone Tavern.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't have a beard at that time.
That's right.
I was watching that video today. It was just kind of fun to look back on it.
You were wonderful then,
thanks.
and you did wonderful work there, but you're doing some wonderful work here too. I know the line is usually out the door here.
Yeah, it can be. Myself with my business partner, John Rigsby, who's inside kind of doing the hard work right now. Him and I just, smoke fresh every day is our big thing here. And we've just kind of fostered an environment that people want to come to a lot. And we are small, so it's sometimes tough to find a table, and that can create a little bit of a line. But we're just, super happy that people want to come here and eat enough to where a line can be created.
Well, I know when I was talking to people about doing this episode and that we were going to be doing a barbecue episode, people hands down mentioned your place. I mean, they
great.
love it. I think it's so well received here. I know you've won a lot of awards. There's a Crave Award in there.
Yeah.
What do you think it is that's resonating with people?
I think, the biggest things, like I said, we smoke fresh every day. without fail, we don't serve leftover meat. So there's no microwaves here. We don't even have an oven. We have a smoker, we have a stove, just enough to boil water for potatoes and, make barbecue sauces. Probably even more important, or as important, is customer service for us is, kind of number one. We love to know people's names. People that come here a lot, they'll watch this and they'll say, he's right. They always remember my name. And that's not a gimmick or a game. It's really, we just enjoy being here and working in the industry, and people come in a lot. We see people 2 and 3 days a week.
Well, and obviously the product is really what people are so excited about, because when they come in, they love to eat here. And I think it's because of just the way that you're smoking these meats and kind of doing it the right way. And you're doing a dry rub on some, right? And just salt and pepper on others?
Yeah, we do definitely a Central Texas style brisket. So we use whole briskets. We trim off, a good amount of the fat, but we like to leave quite a bit of fat on because that's your flavor right there. And just like they do in and around Austin, it's just salt and pepper on the brisket, smoked for 12 to 14 hours. And then our pork, like our pulled pork, we do a kind of just a traditional dry rub, paprika, sugar, garlic, salt, pepper, onion powder, cumin, a little bit of heat from cayenne. Really simple, not too many ingredients. And again, like 12 to 14 hours on oak and fresh every day.
It has to be a good price point too,
Yeah.
right? I think people comment on that. They get a really big portion here, right?
We have some kind of guidelines. We say, well, we're going to put 6 ounces of meat on a sandwich. I've got to be honest, I've never put 6 ounces. I always put more, but that's okay, because John and I, we like to eat. So, we say, well, this doesn't look like a very big sandwich. So we just enjoy that people really love coming here.
This 25-seat hole-in-the-wall offers simple and straightforward grilled and smoked meat. Their offerings include beef brisket, pulled pork, pulled chicken, smoked sausage, and ribs. They serve until 3 p.m. or the meat runs out, which happens far more than you might think. This little barbecue gym is always packed, and customers can't seem to get enough of their pit-fired, flavorful meats. They have 3 sauces: sweet, spicy, and tangy. They also serve a variety of sides and desserts, but their tender, fall-off-the-bone meats are the real showstoppers here. So I understand there's really a right way and a wrong way to slice a brisket, right? So you're going to teach us the right way.
We're going to pull one off the smoker. It might get super smoky in here. We're smoking with wood here.
That's
so
right. It's real.
Big logs. So we'll see what happens, but we'll pull it off and I'll show you how we do it. Basically, you've got two very distinct different pieces of meat. The flat is what you're going to get your pieces that your kind of traditional long brisket pieces that everybody's used to. So you can kind of just start on this end. A lot of people really like, these end pieces because this is what we call the bark. And like I said earlier, it's just salt and pepper. And so people like those end pieces. So you can slice this direction, all right, on the flat. Now the difference is the flat is very lean inside. Now we do leave a little bit of fat on top, and you'll be able to see that. And all
I like the fat, actually.
Yeah, that's fat equals flavor. That's culinary school 101.
Right.
But you got this fat, and as it slow cooks, 12 to 14 hours, it really just melts down into the meat, and that's what keeps it nice and tender. Then your other portion back here has more intermuscular fat. So there's more fat marbled into the meat. So I just think that's just the most gorgeous thing right there. You can see a little bit of smoke ring.
It is so tender and so juicy. Your knife just it looks so easy to cut when you're doing it the right way.
And a lot of people, they call it the pool test. And so you want it to be able to hold its weight, but it just pulls right apart.
Oh man, it's
so,
like butter.
This is one of my favorite things to eat, not just because I'm one of the owners here. I just love good quality fatty brisket. I mean, there's just not much better than that.
There's no doubt that Kentucky has outstanding barbecue. But it's not just the brick and mortars that are in on the action. There are plenty of food trucks serving up some tasty barbecue too. One of the newest additions is Kentucky Strong, which supports Kentucky farmers and Kentucky agriculture by sourcing only local meats and using a slew of locally made products. Even the wood they smoke on is Kentucky oak, and the truck used to pull the mobile kitchen is a Kentucky-made Ford F-250. This obsessive attention to detail, coupled with high-quality local ingredients, is what truly sets them apart. They use a system of rotating pitmasters to give a comprehensive culinary look at Kentucky barbecue, with no secret recipes, which showcases a transparency not often seen in the restaurant world. This community-minded concept, developed by J.P. Miller, even goes a step further by benefiting local causes. A portion of their sales will go to charities like UK Children's Hospital, which supports children and their families all across Kentucky. Now that is strong. Kentucky Strong. Well, as you can see from our tour today, there's plenty of delicious barbecue in the Bluegrass. With plenty of sauces, meats, and styles, these dishes are sure to please both the barbecue newbie and the Q aficionado. Make sure and add Kentucky barbecue to your local travelers list. Coming up on The Local Traveler, we visit historic Stanford to visit 2 downtown businesses that are combining local products with healthy living. First, we dine our way through a friendly and tasty cafe, and then pamper our skin with a local soap maker. So don't miss this episode where we go local in Stanford. It's all coming up on The Local Traveler.